fabulous guest is best known for performing hit songs like I'm in the Mood for Dancing alongside her four sisters.
And she smells very expensive.
Very good.
Now, Anne Nolan has written a new tell-all book and she's here to share some of the stories with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Looking gorgeous.
Thank you, so do you.
Thank you so much. We do try. We've been up since 6 o'clock getting ready. This isn't your first book.
No.
Because in 2008, you released Anne's Song. Now, in that book, you were very, very honest, very open, very vulnerable. You detailed the sexual abuse you suffered
dad,
at the hands of your father. With this book, is this a follow-on story? And if so, are you going to be as open and honest in this? Because I'm sure that was very, very emotional writing the first book.
Yeah, the first book was very, very hard, really, parts of it. It was very cathartic, though. It was good for me, you know. And I mean, I didn't write the book thinking I wanted to get bestseller, although it was.
Congrats, well done.
I love that.
Just thought I'd put that up.
Absolutely.
But I didn't write it for that reason. I wrote it for future generations so they'd know my story, and I thought my story was might be interesting to them. You know, not just the bad parts, but I thought if I'm going to write my life story, I want to write all the great bits and all the bits that weren't so great. So that's what I did. And the second book, New Beginnings, is it's just a follow-on. I started writing that 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember now because I put it down at one point and decided I couldn't be bothered anymore. I had a fallout with my sisters. We didn't speak for like 3 years. And when I took the book back up again, I thought, oh, can I write about that? And I thought, well, either I write about it or I don't write the book at all, because it was a big part of that part of my life. And I spoke to my sisters and they said, yes, you know, they'd all written their own story about the fallout and everything, about their perspective of it. So I thought, well, people need to read how I felt.
Now it's
it was
my
like
turn.
You having your own voice. I mean, did you find the writing process therapeutic?
The second time, not really, because I was really lazy about it. I couldn't be bothered because I did it all by hand. I did it all the first book and the second book. I wrote all by myself, by hand, and then sent
the dedication to that alone is full on.
Yeah,
very time consuming.
It is. That's what I mean. That's why I put it down at some point, because I thought, oh, in your brain, you know, you're trying to remember things, and when you get older, as I am, you could have said, no, you're not really.
Sorry, no, not at all. My goodness, no.
You know, when you get older, things are harder. Everything's harder. So I just got tired doing it. And eventually my manager, Julian, said to me, why don't you start, you know, finish the book? And I thought, yeah, I should really. So, and for my grandkids and their kids, I thought it'd be nice for them to read it. And again, I wasn't bothered whether it was going to be a bestseller, whether I made money with it. I mean, it'd be great if I did make money with it, but I'm not going to lie. But it wasn't my main thing. You know, I thought I just wanted to write it and then it's there for my kids to read, my grandkids to read when they get older.
When it comes to the second book, and you touched on there, you know, with the argument with your sisters and their perspective, with writing this one, was there anything you weren't going to talk about? Or do you feel when you're writing a book, you have to be an open book? And do you ask your sisters for approval on this? This is what I've said. Am I okay to put it in the book?
I think if you're going to write your life story, and if you're going to write your life story and you're in show business and you're just going to write a show business life, then that's fine. If you want to write your actual life story, which encompasses show business and your personal life, then you have to write everything in it. You have to be honest. Well, in my opinion, anyway. So I wanted to be honest about the whole book. I told my sisters what was going to be in it. I didn't ask for their approval. Because I was going to do it anyway. So if they said no, I would have done it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it does teach you a lot about family relationships. I've got 2 sisters. You've got about 20.
Yeah, I'm counting.
Well, and then going through, like, reading all of this back and the accounts of any fallouts, does it make you approach family relationships a little bit differently now? Well,
it's really funny because we've always been so close. I mean, we spent 24/7 for years and years and years together, and we never had a fallout, ever. About personal things. Maybe in show business, we used to fall out about what we were going to wear, what we were going to sing.
All the important stuff.
But in our actual personal lives, we've never actually fallen. We've had arguments like all sisters do, you know, but never actually came to a point where we didn't speak to each other. And so this was the first time this had ever happened. But afterwards, when we kind of made up, we're great friends again now, and it makes you think nothing was worth it.
Yeah,
I said to my sisters, whatever happens, whatever we do, I will never let it split us up again.
Yeah, nothing like a sister's bond.
When it comes to arguments like that are private and behind closed doors between you and your family, when they're made public for whatever reason, and you're seeing them online and you're in the magazines and people having their opinions talking about it, that must make the situation worse, Anne. Surely it does.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, because they write things that sometimes are not quite true, you know, they kind of verge on the truth, but they're not absolutely the truth. So they can put a word in that changes the whole concept of something. But I don't read things.
Good for you.
I don't read things about myself. I don't read the good things and I don't read the bad things. My first ever pantomime, which was about 50 years ago when I was in my 20s, and the critic said afterwards I was the worst principal boy ever to walk the stage at the Theatre Royal in Newcastle. It was my first panto. I didn't have much direction at all. I had no idea what I was doing. So he was absolutely right. But it did upset me a little bit. And I vowed then I will never, ever read another critique because it's one person's opinion.
Yeah.
You start
and it
early.
can destroy you, you know, one person saying something good about you or something bad about you. But then, of course, you can't read the good things either because that can turn it the other way. Thinking you're better than you are.
Absolutely, you're dead right. I mean, there's some other amazing stories included in this book. You wrote a bit about performing at Manchester Pride. How was that?
Oh, gosh, that was my first ever solo thing that I did on my own. My manager at the time, Billy Walker,
they would have loved you there.
Oh, it was
obsessed.
Amazing. I did I Am What I Am. I finished with I'm Limited for Dancing. It was great. They were absolute, because I was so nervous, you know. But they were brilliant. I mean, I don't even know whether I was good or not, but they
Of course you were. You were fabulous. Amazingly, you've beaten cancer twice. That's phenomenal. You talk about it in the book. Was that tough for you to revisit that, I can imagine, scary time of your life?
Yes, it was. It was really hard. I mean, the first cancer was in the turn of the century. Whenever that was, 20 years ago. And the second one was almost to the day, 20 years later.
Wow.
And it was really hard. And it was during COVID, the second one, so it was even worse for anybody who's had anything like that in COVID, because I couldn't have my family with me. The first time round, my kids could come and have dinner and support. This time it was, and the good thing, well, not the good thing, but Linda was going through cancer at the same time. So we had our chemotherapy together. They let us have it together. So, you know, everybody else in the room was on their own, but we had each other to support each other, and that was really great, but it was hard writing about it. I can
imagine. It probably brought you a lot closer, because I know everyone would love to lend a hand and help out, but sometimes it's just having someone there that gets it. He
knows exactly what you're going through and what to say and what not to say. I think it's harder for the people on the outside knowing how to treat the person who's got the cancer, you know, because it's people have different ways of dealing with cancer, or, you know, everybody's deals with it differently. Some like to talk about it, some don't like to talk about it. So you've got to know, you know, how to manage that, really.
Your sister, Bernie, passed away nearly, I think, 10 years ago this month. Yeah, it's been a quick 10 years. When you look back on your times with her, you must have a smile on your face.
There's a photo.
Bernie was
so inspirational.
She was amazing during her cancer as well. She kept going all the time. She came to my daughter's wedding with her bald head and everything. And it was really sad at my daughter's wedding because Bernie's daughter was only 12 at the time when she died.
Young.
Erin. And I remember Bernie saying to me, I'll never see Erin get married or anything. And it was so sad. But Bernie she was amazing. Right to the very end, she kept she had an amazing sense of humour, you know. She was the life and soul of the party. And she kept that right to the very end when it got really bad the last week.
What are some of your favourite memories about her? I'm sure there are plenty.
Probably not all she can share with us.
Some I can never share.
But listen, I would say that's you, Nolan, ladies, and I've been lucky enough to meet you all individually through different stuff work in the UK. You've got such amazing personalities with fun, but also the fight and determination.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, the thing is, people always say to you, know, when you're going through cancer, oh, you're so brave. But my sister Linda is brave now because it's gone to her brain, her cancer.
She's still fighting.
Still there. And she comes out with us to, you know, parties and the cinema.
But that's amazing.
She took us all to a show last week.
I love it. That's great.
And she's on she has to use a walking stick and we have to help her. But she still comes out and does it all, you know. She's really great. So for me, she's brave. But when I was going through it, I wasn't brave. I just did what I had to do. You only have two choices, really.
You take it day by day.
Yeah. And it's a shame to say for people who haven't got through it, it's a shame to say that they weren't brave, because they were brave. They just the cancer just got too much for them, you know.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
I could literally talk to
I've
you.
touched you all day. I know you're just full of stories, so
come back and see us again, please.
Yeah. I'm on a thing tonight.
In Nice?
In Nice, yeah.
Yes, let's plug that.
Forever Young.
Forever Young Festival.
80s Festival, yeah, in Nice.
Okay.
They'll adore you there.
Yes,
I hope so.
you don't want to miss that. Well, Anne's new book, New Beginnings, is available from all good bookshops now.
Go get it now. Still to come this morning. As we all know, there's nothing better than a French manicure. We're all guilty of it, but are we exposing ourselves to health risks with every set? We'll be asking that question after the short break. See you in a bit.